how can you absolutely fail as a business buyer? I'm Jeramiah Townsend, business broker advisor. In today's video, I'm going to show or share with you 5 specific ways that you will absolutely fail as a business buyer. So whatever you do, avoid these 5 things. First and foremost, number 1, not doing sufficient due diligence on a company. It's important for a business buyer to thoroughly research the company, to really understand the company, to understand the sales that's going on, to understand the customer base, and to understand the company culture, company staff, company systems. Those are really important. And if you don't understand those things, not doing that due diligence, not understanding why the seller is really motivated to sell, you're going to fail as a business buyer. Number 2, the second reason that, or the second way to fail as a business buyer is not negotiating effectively. I can't stress this enough. You really make your money when you buy a company, when you buy the company. If you overpay for the company, it's not going to cash flow very well, and it will kill your profits for many, many years. It'll kill it for 5, 10 years, and possibly even longer. So it's really important that you negotiate effectively. You need to make sure know how to make a good deal for both parties, but you need to be effective at it, and that's very important. It's not always the best price. It's not always the highest price. It's often the terms and have you help the seller achieve their goals. Number 3, the third thing you can do failing as a business buyer is not having a solid plan in place. Business buyers need a solid plan in place on how they're going to take over the company. Who's going to become the manager? Or is the owner going to become the manager? Are they going to keep the established management team? Are they going to raise people up? They need to have a plan in place for this transition takeover. Are they going to get help from the previous owner for 2 weeks, for 30 days, for 6 months, for a year? What's going to be required? So not having a solid transition plan in place is one way that you will absolutely fail as a business buyer. And your company will go down in flames. Everybody will be without jobs and you'll lose a lot of money. Nobody wants that. Number 4, the fourth way you can fail as a business buyer is not considering the long term. You don't want to just consider the initial finances of the business. You really want to understand, where are you going to take this? Where are you going to continue to operate the business on a day-to-day basis? Are you going to be doing mergers? Are you going to be selling the company to the established management team? What are you going to be doing long-term with that business? Whether it's 3 years, 5 years, or 10 years down the road, you do need to have an initial plan in place, an initial vision for where you're going to take that company. It's very important because all your staff and your employees and your customers are going to catch on to that vision. So you need to have a vision in place, and you want to make sure that it's a good fit. It's a good fit. Number 5, the 5th way that you're going to fail as a business buyer is not being realistic. You need to be realistic about your asking price, selling price, buying price, how much money you bring to the table, how much resources you bring to the table, and what your personal capabilities are in the company. So if you have a company that has slightly decreasing sales, that's very common. Business owners might get a little bit tired and not push so hard, and sales might slump a little bit or plateau. And so you need to be realistic. You're likely not going to double or triple the sales revenue in the first year. You have to think about that realistically. So it's important to be realistic when you buy the company, that it's being bought based on the established existing cash flow, not on hopefully you'll generate this additional revenue, or hopefully you'll win these other additional contracts or these other contracts in place, or that the company has the potential to make a lot more. Let me be honest with you. If it was that easy to double or triple the profits of the company, and the owner, the current owner, is trying to sell you, well, it's worth so much because potentially it could make a lot more. Let me tell you, Yeah, sure, that potential exists, but the current owner hasn't capitalized. And if it really was that easy, the current owner should be doing those things. The fact of the matter is, good, bad, or otherwise, the current owner hasn't capitalized on those. And that's why you're interested in buying it for fair market value based on what it generates today. You don't pay a 16-year-old kid $500,000 a year because hopefully one day he'll be a doctor and he'll be worth that much money. No, you pay him the equivalent of the value he's generating. So remember that you have to be realistic as a buyer when you go into these deals. The seller's going to want as much money as he can get. And let's be realistic. Let's try to give them as much as the business justifies. I'm Jeremiah Townsend, business broker advisor. These are five um, these are 5 ways you're absolutely going to fail in your business. Please like and subscribe to this video. If it's helped you, leave a comment on it. I always appreciate that, and it helps me know how to make better videos for you in buying and selling companies. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you again soon.